Hello everyone. I want to talk to you about patient advocacy. Stand up for yourself! Now I know this is hard enough to do in like normal life, and then adding the additional layer of being a patient on top of this, let alone being a cancer patient when you're facing a dire circumstance, super hard. And I was incredibly fortunate and privileged to have my mother along with me for my cancer journey because she works in medicine. She used to mix chemotherapy, so she knew a thing or two about what the fuck she was talking about. I'm also mostly stubborn and outspoken. She loud. Now, when I was at my first hospital, the prognosis was that it was not going well. They didn't know what to do, and it wasn't looking good. So the idea was that I was going to have about 6 to 8 rounds of chemo, 30 days of radiation, an analogous stem cell transplant, and 3 rounds of full body radiation. Now, if I would have done that, I would look like a tortoise right now, and I would be on medication every day to make sure that that stem cell transplant didn't reject my body. Thankfully, at this point in the story where we find me, I am in radiation. I'm starting to feel better, my hair's growing back, and it's working. So my brain starts to clear out of the chemo brain fog that you get in when you are pumped full of it. Now, the first hospital I was at was really pushing for this analogous stem cell transplant, which is when you take someone else's stem cells and you put them into your own body. This is super risky. It has a higher fatality rate. The rejection rate is not cute. I was also 25 at the time and in the best shape of my life, and there was no reason why I could not have been my own stem cell donor. But they were really pushing. Now, when I had brought up the idea of getting a second opinion from another hospital, of course, they were like, no, don't do that. Cancer treatment is really profitable for hospitals. Anyway, I had been going along with this idea for a couple weeks at this point, but I had an appointment with my doctor where I finally sat down and was like, I do not want to do this. And I was pushing getting a second opinion, and she finally was like, I don't know why I needed her permission to do this, but she was finally like, okay, go ahead. They make it impossible for you to get your file out of the hospital. They also make it kind of cost prohibitive, but I managed. So I go to the second hospital, Sloan Kettering. My doctor, Queen Goddess Amazing, takes one look at my file, one look at my biopsy slides, and she's like, oh, you've been misdiagnosed. It's actually this. So you can just imagine my reaction. My favorite part about this is that the doctor at Hospital 1 was trained under doctor at Hospital 2, and Hospital 2 doctor was like, she should know better. Anyway, that kind of turned me into hell on wheels, and I withdrew from Hospital 1, went to Sloan Kettering, and they ended up saving my life with nothing that the first hospital wanted to do. I had an autologous stem cell transplant, which is when I'm my own donor, and no more radiation, and they saved my life. Moral of the story is, if something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Stand up for yourself.